And welcome to the Charron Zone. I have a very, very special guest. We have Jess Kellie Adams with us in the zone. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Tim, I'm so happy to be in the zone, the Charron zone.
Right on. So we are going to go over. We're going to do your one mistake and three actions to take. So basically, we're going to go over like maybe like a big learning lesson from some point in your career that may have helped you get to where you are now. And then basically three tips that you can give musicians that you've basically learned throughout your career to get where you are now. And why don't you let everybody know like a little bit about yourself? And I'm also going to give I'm going to give my performance tip for egomaniacs like myself. So if you could introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, awesome. My name is Jess Kellie Adams. I'm out of Nashville, Tennessee, but I was born in Austin, Texas, raised just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I have been a musician for 15 years now. I'm 28. Got my first band when I was 13, playing on little tractor beds and and just have been learning so much. I still feel so new to this industry. Every day is a learning experience. And my mom always says, you're not doing it right if you don't have sweaty palms. And man, are my palms sweaty. But it's been a lot of fun, just meeting people like you, Tim, and going to these different fair and festival conventions to book shows. I've been doing that since I was 15 years old. And that's kind of how I've gotten my start, is playing fairs and festivals. And I'm just so grateful for all of those that have taken the chance on me and my show and have given me those opportunities.
I just want to jump in real quick.
Yeah.
I definitely would love to talk to you a little bit later about fairs and festivals, and most importantly, the whole concept of showcasing and the showcasing versus pay to play, because it's a super, super hot topic. I was just talking to another agent yesterday about the whole concept of pay to play and the vast difference between showcasing. So let's definitely talk about that. I just made a note.
Awesome.
And keep going with your wonderful intro.
Yeah, so just been doing this for a long time. And my favorite part about this is, we play as far west as Texas and as far north and east as upstate New York. And we're trying to break into Florida. A lot of our shows are in Ohio. And I'd say my favorite part about going on the road is just all the different people I get to meet.
Yeah.
And when fairs and festivals, different events bring us back the next year, it's like a family reunion.
Yep.
And it's just a lot of fun. And so yeah, that's a little bit about me and what I do.
Awesome. A lot of times people will wait till the end to do this, but why don't you let everybody know? Jess, in my opinion, is just you're an amazing performer. I love performers. Of course, I love songwriters. I love singers. I love musicians. But the most exciting thing for me is watching an exciting performer, and you are definitely one. So let everybody know where they can find you and follow you and stuff right off the bat.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And you can find me at Jess Kellie Adams across everything. And I'm updating constantly what I'm up to. We are currently working on getting back in the studio, writing songs for that project. And I just take my JKA fam, as I call my followers, on the journey with me through the whole process. And it's a lot of fun. So come on over and be a part of the journey with me.
Awesome. Excellent. Everybody, check out Jess and make sure you follow her and go see her live because, like I said, she's an amazing performer, super high energy, over the top show, which I absolutely love. So I just wanted to also let everybody know that I am, if you're listening on the podcast, or if you're watching, you will see that I am wearing a leather jacket. And I'm also wearing shorts. So just kind of like a little pre. Now, I don't know if you want to divulge anything, Jess, like anything you want to tell everybody or
Well, it's so
about your.
I was giving you such a hard time before we hit record, and I was like, what? Are you confused on the weather? And here I am in a jacket, and then I'm in sweats. So
The magic of Skype. Okay.
I love it.
So, okay, I'm just gonna jump in. We were talking about having a lot of confidence, I guess. I think that's what we're talking about. So that's why I wanted to tell you my technique that I use during some of my shows that I just think is funny, and it shows off what an egomaniac I am. So I will like stop in the middle, and I will do like these elaborate introductions of my band, so everybody give a big round of applause straight from blah blah blah, from wherever they're from. On bass guitar, Joey Ojeda, blah, 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 give them a big round of applause, and I'll go through and I'll ask people, give a big round of applause for the venue for having the Tim Charron band, blah blah blah, blah. And then very dramatically, I will stop and I will say, and please, as loud as you possibly can, a big round of applause for me.
That's amazing. I might feel that.
You absolutely should. You absolutely should. So that's like my performance technique for egomaniacs. That's what I call it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So we're gonna go over your 3 tips. We're gonna go over maybe like a big mistake that you made, or something that you might have, you wish that you knew earlier in your career. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about the whole process and your experience of showcasing in fairs and festivals, because like I said, I just had this conversation with another booking agent yesterday, and I've had different acts showcase at conferences. I have showcased at FFEA, actually, I think 7 or 8 years. And I've also showcased for college conferences, things like that. Actually, that's where I met the agent that I'm talking about. So let's just go over like maybe your experience, or your I don't know what let's find out what your take is on pay to play and, well, paying to play at a conference.
Okay, so showcasing, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to I think showcasing is very important. And I just love these associations because they give independent artists like me these opportunities to get in front of buyers, big festivals and fairs in that state. And I think all artists, if you're wanting to get out there, I think these conferences are the way to go. And showcasing is definitely the way to book shows. It might cost a little bit to showcase, but hey, I mean, if you're booking gigs, you're getting that opportunity in front of these people. It is well worth it.
Yeah. I tell people that if you want to go from the bars to the big stage, this is the best possible way, is to go and showcase. And for people listening and watching that don't really know exactly what we're talking about, is there are conferences all over the country in every state for, that you go, it's a convention, and you go, you pay to be part of the association, you pay to basically to showcase, whether or not you get a booth or not, you pay to do a showcase. And what a showcase is you basically perform a short set 10 to 20 minutes
Mhm.
in front of,
Mhm.
a few hundred people that are there. And in our case, we met at FFEA, which is Fairs and Festivals in Florida. So when you go to FFEA, which is an amazing organization, I've been part of it for, I think, almost 10 years. I've been on the entertainment committee for, I think, 7 years. I've showcased at it 7 or 8 years. And I owe a lot of my, success in doing shows to showcasing at FFEA. So what it is, if you're listening and you're watching, is you pay to get an opportunity to perform in front of a few hundred buyers, people that are in charge of and run and have the budgets for, in this instance, fairs, festivals, and city events.
Mhm.
The college ones that I did, you showcase in front of a few hundred people that are basically in charge of booking the bands and the acts for the colleges. So to get in front of all those people at one time and literally showcase what you do live in color, in person, is unbelievably, incredibly powerful. And I
Mhm.
think that it's a very unknown, it's a very unknown thing as far as I can tell. And a lot of people ask me, or tell me as a booking agent, they're like, I just want to get out of playing bars, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with bars, but um, if you're playing in bars and you want to start playing fairs, festivals, city events, bigger stages, better audiences, better paying, dare I say, much better and more professional to deal with
Mhm.
on a whole, showcasing, showcasing. And I will stop rambling and let you ramble, but I just want to say that that is exactly how I went from playing bars to playing festivals, fairs, and city events with showcasing.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten into bars. I played the Hard Rock in Tulsa. I'm trying to get into the Wild Horse here in Nashville. Um, but I think it all kind of, like you're saying, there's nothing wrong with playing bars. I think it all depends on what you're going for. Are you wanting to play 4 hours and be a cover band, or are you going for a more artist approach about it, where you can play mostly originals and people are there really for the music? So, everybody has their different goals. And I think that it's just really important to sit down sometimes and ask yourself, okay, where do I see my career going? Am I happy playing on Broadway in Nashville, or do I see myself on the road, seeing new places, meeting new people? And so I think both are great. It's just all depends on what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, and it's a much bigger, um, for lack of a better word, image. I know that you have to be very cognizant of the image that you're putting out.
Mhm.
And if I'll just speak for myself, when I started playing bigger shows, festivals, and opening for national acts, people in the music business really started to pay attention.
Mhm.
And that's how people know me now because that's what I put out.
Mhm.
And you know, nothing against playing at bars, against playing, on Broadway.
Mhm.
If you are playing only bars or Broadway, that's going to be the music business's um, interpretation of you. That's all they're going to know of you. And if you are playing and touring and doing bigger things, um, bigger stages, bigger crowds, opening for national acts,
Mhm.
the music business is going to be much more interested in you. It's really super simple. I think a good strategy is if you are in a band playing bars, then start, showcasing for fairs and festivals and stuff, and then just start adding those in And then you're getting that recurring income, which is super important, you know, as a struggling independent artist such as ourselves. If you're playing bars, you can get that recurring income. You can build your fan base locally and then start doing fairs and festivals, whether it's in your region or your target markets, which markets, you got to have a market. You got to have a market. um, Everybody, please write that down. You have to have a market, at least a market, 2 or 3, or even better. So we can talk about that as well. But yeah, a nice hybrid approach. Playing bars, but then also investing in yourself and in your business, so that you can start playing the fairs and festivals and bigger shows if that's where you are. If you can, just talk about your approach. You obviously look at what you're doing as the business that it is. If you could just talk a little bit about the business.
Yeah. Talk about the business. You mean how I approach booking shows and stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Anything. Just I just feel like a lot of musicians, a lot of bands, they kind of get turned off as soon as you say business. And I just personally, I take my business extremely seriously because it's my whole life.
Yep.
So, and once I started taking myself myself and the business seriously, my music career blew up. And it's only I could not be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't take the business seriously. So just anything that you can add to that, or your mindset for that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like to call myself a businesswoman all the time because I'm always looking for opportunities to grow the business and to keep feeding into it. I think my biggest thing currently is just placing myself anywhere and everywhere I can, be as visible as possible, talk to as many people as possible. Um, I had a show in Florida, and then like a few days later, I had a show in Pennsylvania, and I noticed that one of my professors was playing in North Carolina. So I went to his show in North Carolina, not expecting anything, just wanted to. I was like, hey, it's on my way to Pennsylvania, and I'm just gonna go and say hi, and maybe something will come out of it. And so I got to meet with him, and now he's helping me out in different areas. So it's just always making yourself visible, and never really never having an expectation for anything to come out of it, but you just never know. Even if it's like, it's like, well, I don't want to go to that concert because I might not get to see him, but what if you do get to see him,
Mm.
So there's that, and it's just being persistent too. I've always in the past, it's been, oh, I don't want to bug people. I already called them, but no, bug them, because actually they want you to bug them.
Yes, I actually told you that, didn't I?
You may have.
I told you that last time we talked. I said, please just stay in contact with me because I just get so busy. And when you call me or text me or email me, then you're back on my mind, and there's always opportunities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to talk real quick about that. That's such a great point. You are doing you got to work on changing that mindset, because I had the same mindset. Like when I started booking my own gigs, I went for years hating it. It made me insane. I hated it. I hated feeling like I was bothering people. I hated feeling like I was a salesperson, cold calling people. But then, I decided that I was going to get really good at it just by doing it a million times in repetition. But also, I started to change my mindset and reading and listening to podcasts and all that to understand that you are doing the person a favor. I wish people could really understand that. You're doing them a favor by following up.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, you'll run into people, and it's not always, puppies and rainbows. Sometimes, 1 out of 20 people, they're going to be a jerk, right? But you have to, if you know that is going to come, that like sometimes people are going to be a jerk, like, oh, you're bugging me or whatever, then you can deal with it better. And if you realize that the other 19 people are thinking, well, you're doing me a favor by following up, because people are just so crazy busy.
Yes.
You know?
And Tim, too, going back to people, kind of being dismissive towards you. I had this one festival. I kept calling her and calling her and calling her. And one time on the phone, she said, you are wasting your time calling me. And at first I was like, oh no, like she hates me now. But then I said to myself, no, Jess, just keep calling her. And act like she did not just give you the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
And I got the gig because I
Oh,
just kept calling even after I felt dismissed, and you just got to ignore it.
that's such a great example, and people respect it. People respect people that are determined. Like, I do. I respect people that follow up with me
Mhm.
all the time. I mean, I wish I could just tell everybody, like, hey, make sure you follow up with me. I need you to follow up with me.
Mhm.
But I don't want to go around trying to teach people that. Um, and I have a million people every day now that I have started the booking agency trying to communicate with me. But really, like, if you think about it this way too, a lot of it is really a test, you know, because these people are so busy that if you contact them once, that's nice. If you contact them twice, okay, now they might start to remember. By the fourth or fifth time you contact them, and different ways, emails and just pinging them this way and that way, then they just start to take you seriously after like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
That's just the way people work. If you try to contact someone once or twice, someone who's super busy, I mean, you know, especially we're all trying to get these great opportunities. Well, how busy do you think that these people that are in charge of these opportunities are? You know what I mean? They're really busy. So if you try to contact them once or twice and then you just give up,
Yeah.
they're not going to remember you, number one. But if you do the opposite and you try to, multiply that by 10, eventually they're either going to end up respecting you, or they'll just, let you know. Okay. I mean, it happens to me every day. People will be like, I'll follow up with people and they're like, oh, we ended up booking this, so let's work on next year.
Mhm.
Um,
And also too, it is so, so tough to get your foot in the door, having that persistence, being told no all the time, but still pushing forward. And but man, though, once you're able to break those walls with these buyers, um, they start contacting you for opportunities. Now they're believing in you and they want to help bring you as many gigs as possible. So whatever they're putting on, they're calling you. And so it will happen. In my experience, it's just really working hard and putting your foot down, saying, okay, I'm in survival mode right now.
yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to say, if people are listening and watching and they're, you might be wondering if you're not doing what you feel like you should be doing, or you're not getting the opportunities that you feel like you should be getting, you might want to consider that people are just straight up outworking you, because I know how hard I work. you know, um, it's a lot of work. Now, I like to tell people, I've had jobs where it's actually works. So I say, for lack of better words, I say you've got to work really hard and outwork yourself, outwork other people. I've had jobs where I had to climb in the back of a cement truck and jackhammer and sledgehammer the cement that would build up in the blades. I've done construction in the summer. I've done a lot of hard jobs. So
sounds pretty dangerous too.
Oh, that one with the cement truck was epic. I actually loved it, but it was crazy because those cement trucks, you get in there, you start jackhammering, and you can only be in for like 10 minutes because it heats up to like 120 degrees. So you have to get out and then let it cool off, go back in. Wow. So, when I'm at my office studio and I'm calling people so that I can go and perform for thousands of people and get paid really well, it's not hard work. It's just a lot of it.
Physical. Yeah, not definitely emotional and like mental. It takes a toll, but yeah, the physical aspect of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and for you obviously, I love the fact that you take it as a business, and I'm just assuming that you look at what you're putting on stage as a product, because it looks, from my perspective, it looks very polished. You guys are super tight. Yeah. It's a whole show. These are so many important things that people that are up and coming or just starting or trying to get to the next level, I think they really need to understand that a lot of thought and planning goes into making your product as sellable as possible. And those things are like, for instance, if you could just talk a little bit about your approach to putting together the show. And when you did the showcase, putting together the showcase, you only have like 15 or 20 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
How do you approach putting together a showcase as opposed to putting together a full set?
Yeah. Yeah, that's always the hard question. How do you get your 2-hour show, your hour and a half show, to fit in 12 minutes or 20 minutes? And so I think it's all about knowing, again, who you are as an artist or a musician, and what your sound is, and just being as undeniable as possible with your approach, making sure you have that roller coaster going on with dynamic in the show, and when you speak, it has a purpose to transition into the next song. And speaking of transitions, if you're not talking, making sure those transitions are really tight.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. These are amazing points. People should be taking notes. Continue, please.
And also making sure you have a good show. It's making sure your musicians, your band is happy. And so it's all in the detail. And for me, we have a Google Drive where it has our charts, it has videos, it has recordings. We record every show. And of course, the keys and tempo. We have all of that already mapped out. So our band should have everything they need. We try and make things as easy as possible. We have reliable transportation for them. They always get a roof over their head, of course, and a food or a meal. And so just always trying to make sure my musicians are happy, so they put on the best show possible, and they want to come back, because yes, there are so many musicians in Nashville, but also there are a lot of artists in Nashville, and they don't have to play for me. They can go somewhere else. So when I say have an undeniable show, it's just be an undeniable leader as well, and in all areas. And just making sure that, number one, your fans are happy, and then your buyers, then your band, and then you. That's how I look at it for myself.
I love it. I love it. Be undeniable.
Yeah.
That should be the title of your book.
I'm trying so hard.
And then the movie, and then the whole thing.
Let's do
Undeniable.
it.
That's great. I absolutely love it, and I just want to pound the message into people of what you're saying. The amount of detail, that was a great word. It's a great concept. The amount of preparation
Yeah.
that you are talking about is, I mean, if you're constantly preparing like you're talking about to do things, then it's not so overwhelming. But I'm always preaching, like, if you over prepare for things, you're going to be a billion times more, better off.
Yeah.
So, it's literally not like you are just taking a band and saying, okay, hey guys, we're going to do a 20-minute set. We're going to do a quick 20-minute set because it's a showcase. You are planning it, and however long goes into that it takes you to, be at home, go over a set list, figure out what medleys to do, figure out the best possible songs to do. I always tell my acts that are showcasing, you've got to do mostly, a lot of covers. You got to do a lot of covers because that's what people are buying.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
you were just talking about medleys too. That popped in my mind as well. Of when you are creating your medley, think about your show. Think about the different genres that you might cover within your show and find a cool way to mash them all together in a medley. And then that showcases your transitions, your artistry, your, how you craft.
Your dynamics, which is great. We mash up Hicktown by Jason Aldean and Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
Yes.
It freaking slays every time. No matter what, it kills.
Yeah.
And I love that you brought up dynamics because we use dynamics a lot. And I plan this out. And then, like I said, once you've planned out all of these things in your set list, and dynamics wise, and you're all used to it, then when you make some tweaks, it's not a big deal because you already have all these things implemented. But I'm just fascinated by the idea of how much planning just beforehand goes into it. And exactly what you were saying, like, if you're gonna talk, know what you're gonna say.
Yes.
If you're not going to talk, make sure your transitions are tight.
Yeah. There's a purpose for everything. Your medleys need to have a purpose. Talking needs to have a purpose. The songs you choose, everything just have a purpose.
Yep, I love it. And going back to performing covers at showcases, because that's what for the most part, fairs, festivals, city events are going to hire you to play. I really think they love like independent artists or artists in general that are going to come and play a lot of covers, but they also have really good original material. As opposed to bars, I think, from my experience, it just seems like bars could care less about you having your own songs, but fairs and festivals love that. Having said that, when you're showcasing for those people, realize they're also there to kind of party for those few days. Yeah. So you want to play songs that they know so that they will book you. Yeah. Then when you get booked, you go and you play the show and you add your original songs into the set.
Yeah. Yep. Something I've learned too about playing the hard rock is it keeps you on your toes. And that's something that's a little different than if you already have your planned out show. So I think keeping bar gigs as well is really good because it sometimes you got to switch up the songs a little bit in order to fit the time or to fit what the audience is wanting, what the bar is wanting. And I had a bar contact me the week before our show was supposed to be saying, "Hey, make sure you're playing these types of songs." Thankfully we were, but it's like, oh my goodness, what if we weren't? We had 4 hours of, music we had to do of that, style, but it just keeps you on your toes. So, definitely I wouldn't stray away from bar gigs until you're really able to fill up a whole schedule of these.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just played a bar like I think a week and a half ago. Um, and that's what I do is I have a master set list, which is enough to cover a 4 hour bar gig. So and everybody has to have the master set list because a lot of times we'll go into a show and I won't I won't even know which songs I'm gonna skip. Like if it's a 2 hour gig, I still use the 4 hour set list, and hopefully this is interesting to people because this is stuff that I just nerd out about. But these are important things. I really want people to see exactly what is working for you and I. So I use a master set list with all the songs to cover 4 hours. I keep it in the same order, so the songs are always going to. So if somebody has charts, which please, if you need charts, please make charts. I always say I'd much rather have somebody don't put anything in front of you like an iPhone or an iPad. I will kick you off the stage. But if you need charts and put them somewhere that nobody can see it. I would much rather have a musician have charts than mess up live. Having said that, so I have a 4 hour set list. It's always in the same order. We always do the same intro. First 5 songs are always the same, so it's super tight, super comfortable. We do not stop so that the transitions are tight. I don't say anything in between those 5 songs at the beginning of the show, and we always end with the same songs. So, but in between that, if we're doing a 2 hour show, then I'll just skip songs on the set list. And it's easy for the musicians because they'll be like, okay, cool. I know that, I know what's coming next. So we'll just jump to the next one. So yeah, it's a lot of planning, but once you do it, then you don't have to worry about it.
And it's kind of intimidating at first when you start the whole planning process, but once you get into it, it's kind of fun.
I totally agree. Like I said, yeah, I nerd out about this stuff. I love it. Like we're doing we're going to do a 1 hour show, and I have a new band member, a new guitar player playing this festival, and it's a 1 hour. So I'm all excited. Like he asked me if I would put together the 1 hour set list, and I'm a dork. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Like I get to pick all the what I call the greatest hits and get to put it together and then see what I think is gonna go over well for I just nerd out about like how to start the set and then how to kind of like dynamically with the tempos of the songs, up tempo, up tempo, up tempo, mid tempo, maybe a ballad, mid tempo, back to up tempo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like doing all that stuff. It's
yeah.
fun. And what I also learned is opening for national acts where you have like 45 minutes.
Yep.
I saw a band open for a national act the other night. I'm not gonna mention. I don't even remember the name of the band. I was not supposed to, but the national act, their manager wanted us to open, but literally the day before they had chosen this other band, the venue had chosen them. But I went anyway to hang out with the national act and the manager. But this band was so bad, in my humble opinion. And I don't know about you, but this is just my experience is I've opened for over 45 national acts. And what I would never do, I'll tell you a quick story about a show that I turned down because they wanted me to play no covers. So I've tried to become really good at opening for a national act, 5,000-10,000 people, and hitting the stage and grabbing their attention and keeping their attention the whole 45 minutes or an hour, and getting those people to become my fan, which is not an easy thing to do in 45 minutes.
Right.
And one of the ways I do that is by using cover songs that everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen bands do a 45-minute original set. They're an opening act. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know any of their songs. I probably fell asleep. That's the most boring thing. If you go to see Kenny Chesney and he plays an hour of songs you've never heard, like unreleased material that you've never heard, you're going to want to go home. Mm-hmm. So I use cover songs, especially when I'm opening for nationals, to grab people's attention, and Trace Adkins, actually, we got an offer to open for Trace Adkins, and we're going through the submission process, and the venue was like, oh, well, their manager just wants to make sure that you don't play any covers. And I said, oh, I'm not doing it. There's no way. There's no way that I'm going to get in front of 5,000 people and play 45 minutes of songs that I wrote only because they don't know them.
Yeah.
I think they're great songs, but they don't know them. So It's going to be boring. And Trace, they came back and they said, okay, do whatever you want. So we ended up opening for them. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's my rant on that. So do you want to go over, let's go over, your learning experience / mistake, and then maybe a few actions that people should take / things that that you've learned that have worked for you in your career.
Yeah. Okay. I would say my biggest mistake would be not believing in myself, not believing that I was good enough to be in certain rooms or to have conversations with certain people. And so that has caused me to lose opportunities in the past because I didn't put myself out there. Mm-hmm. So I would say what I have done to believe in myself more is prepare, like we have talked a lot about.
Yes.
Yeah, prepare. Make sure that you're doing everything you can to be ready for those opportunities for when they arrive. And so when they do arrive, you say to yourself, you know what? I've accomplished X, Y, and Z. I deserve to be in this room because I have put in the work. That helps with my confidence. And then the second one is to always make yourself visible, like we've talked about. When I started doing that, honestly, just the past year or two, a lot of different doors have opened up from that as well. And the third one, let's see how. So being visible, preparation. Let's think.
Oh, I do want to just go over something that you said about going to someone's show and networking. So maybe we could just talk about that for one sec. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So that you went to someone else's event or show or something like that. that's one of my big, tips that I started to do years ago and has been wonderful for me is, of course, networking is extremely important. And my tip for networking is support other people. And just like you said, support other people without expectations, and amazing things will eventually karmically happen to you, whether it's right there or down the road. Things, if I do find a lot of in Nashville, I feel like people are very supportive of each other, but outside of Nashville, I feel like singers and artists are very close and tight with their little thing that they're or big thing that they're doing. Yeah. So I just try to support people as much as I can. Yeah. I try to go and go to their events, go to their shows. And one thing that I started to do in Nashville is if there's someone that I want to have more of a relationship, whether it's a songwriter or somebody in the music business, I will go to their event. Because in Nashville, like a good example, I'm good friends with Jason Aldean's drummer. I've known him since before I moved to Nashville. And through the years, when he was playing like a duo gig in East Nashville on a Tuesday with his friend, I would go, and sit there, and hang out and hopefully be fun to hang out with and support that gig with no expectations. And I do the same thing with songwriters, professional songwriters that I want to have a relationship with. They're out there mostly during the week, playing writers' nights and things like that. And they want people to come support them too, Yeah. So go support the people that you want to work with. Yeah. It's very beneficial. Also, on top of that, whether you're going to see another artist or like a songwriter that you want to work with, or someone who's on a panel, like someone who works at a label or a publisher who's speaking on a panel, go to those events. And then, and if you want to meet that person, you don't know them, go introduce yourself afterwards. Don't be overbearing, but introduce yourself so that you have you start a connection. And then try to go to as many events of theirs as you can, because everybody wants to be supported with what they're doing, just like we want to be supported with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, this has been wonderful, and I could talk to you about this all day. I really appreciate it. I think that there's a lot of stuff in here that people can really take and use for their music career, and I think it's going to be very helpful. So thank you. I appreciate it. And please remind people where they can find you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tim, so much for having me in the Charron zone. This was so fun. I love getting to talk with you, and I'm so happy we met back in August. And if you want to check out my stuff, everybody, my name is Jess Kellie Adams, and Kelly is spelled a little different. It's Kellie. So Jess Kellie Adams, and you can find me at that handle on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. So Spotify, Apple Music.
I love it. Awesome. Just a quick reminder for everybody to please subscribe and get notifications for the Charron Zone on YouTube, because it's a video podcast series as well as an audio podcast series. So the audio podcast is everywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, and everything. So please subscribe, and please make sure that you follow Jess Kellie Adams.
Yay! Thanks, Tim.